Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Buddhya Vishudaya Yukto Ditya Manam Niyam Yacha Shabdadin Vishayam Styaktva Agadvesho Vidusya Cha Vivikta Sevi Lagvasi Yata Vakayamana Saha Dhyana Yogo Paranityam Vairagyam Samupashrita Ahankaram Balam Darpam Kamam Krodam Parigraham Vimuchya Nirma Santo Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate.
Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being free from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship and peaceful, such person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization.
Brahma Bhuta Prashanatma Na Sochati Na Kankshiti Samasarveshu Bhuteshu Madbhaktim Labhate Param.
One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards every living entity. In this state, he obtains pure devotional service unto me.
Bhaktya Mamma Vijarati Yavan Yaschashmitat Pataha Tato Mam Tatvato Nyatva Veshate Tadanantaram.
One can understand me as I am, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God.
Sarvakarmani api sada kurvano mad vyapashraya mat prasadat avapnoti shasvatam padamavyayam.
Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace.
Chetasa sarvakarmani mai sannyasya matparaha buddhi yogam upashritya machita satatam bhava.
In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me.
Machita sarva durgani mat prasadat tarishyasi ata chetvam ahankaran nashosyasi vinashyasi.
If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of maintaining life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act from false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost.
Yad ahankaram ashritya nayotya iti manyase vritye sabhyavisyas te prakritistam niyokshati.
If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare.
Swabhavajena kaunteya nibadasvena karmana kartam nechasi anmohat karishyasi avasopitat.
Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction. But compelled by the birth born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti.
Ishvara sarva bhutanam riddeshe arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantya urdani mayaya.
The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities, who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy.
Sorry, Yash and Sridham, there is quite a bit of a background noise coming. So could you just request the devotees behind just for next 5-7 minutes, please? Thank you.
Okay. Tam eva saranam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param santim stanam prapshyasi sasvatam.
O Seon of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode.
Iti te jnanam akhyatam goya goyataram maya hrimshre tad asheshena yate chasitata kuru.
Thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do.
Sarva goyatmam bhuya shinu me paramam vacha ishtosi me dridamiti tato vakshami te hitam.
Because you are my very dear friend, I'm speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit.
Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam eveshyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me.
Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend.
Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma sacha.
Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear.
Idam tenata pashkaya na bhaktaya kadachana na cha shushra vachyam na cha mam yobhyashyushyati.
This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me.
Ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhaktvash abhidashyati bhakti mai param kritva mam evashyati samshaya.
For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me.
Na cha tasman manusyeshu kaschin me priyakritamaha bhavita na cha me tasman anya priyataro bhuvi.
There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear.
Adhyashyate cha ya imam dharmam saswadam avyayo nana yagnena tenaham ishtasham iti me mati.
And I declare that he who studies the sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence.
Shraddhavananushriyascha shinnu yad apiyo nara sopi mukta subalokan pratnu yad punya karmanam.
And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free of from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell.
Kachid etachchutam partha tyage krena chetasa kachid ajnana samoha panastaste dhananjaya.
O son of Pritha, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an intensive mind, and are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled?
Arjuna vacha nashto moha smiter labda tvat prasadan mayachyuta stitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava.
Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubts, and I am prepared to act according to your instructions.
Sanjaya vacha iti aham vasudevasya devasya parthasya cha mahatmana samvadam imam ashrosham adbhutam roma harshanam.
But Sanjaya said, Thus I have heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna, and so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end.
Vyasa prasada chuttavan etad goyam aham param yogam yogeshwarat krishnat shakshat katayata swayam.
By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who is speaking personally to Arjuna.
Rajan sansmritya tambadam imam adbhutam Keshavaryojaneo punyam rishyami cha muhurmuhu.
O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure at being thrilled at every moment.
Tacha samsmritya samsmritya rupamati adbhutam hare vishvayo me mahan rajan rishyami cha puna puna.
O king, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I'm struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again.
Yatra yogeshvara krishno yatra partho dhanurdhara tatra shar vijayo bhutir dhruva netir matir mama.
Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion.
Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Shu Upanishadashu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Moksha Sannyasi Yoga Nama Ashtadasho Adhyayaha. Thank you so much, Sridham and Yash. That was a very nice recitation. Sridham, is my voice clear without any crankling noise?
Yeah.
Yes, clear.
Okay, thank you. Right. Great. Well, thank you, devotees, for joining us this evening for this beautiful chapter, 28th chapter, sorry, 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I was going to say 28th chapter, Bhagavad Gita only has 18 chapters. So today we will be discussing a very beautiful verse from text 17, from text 73 of this chapter. I'm just going to take you all there so we can have a look at the verse. Okay. Shri Arjuna Uvacha Nashtamoha Smritirlabdha Tvatprasadanmaya Uchata Sihitos Asmi Gata Sandeha Karishe Vachanam Tava. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I'm now firm and free from doubt, and I'm prepared to act according to your instructions. Purport. The constitutional position of a living entity represented by Arjuna is that he has to act according to the order of the Supreme Lord. He is meant for self discipline. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that the actual position of the living entity is that of an eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. Forgetting this principle, the living entity becomes conditioned by material nature, but in serving the Supreme Lord, he becomes the liberated servant of God. The living entity's constitutional position is to be a servitor. He has to serve either the illusory Maya or the Supreme Lord. If he serves the Supreme Lord, he is in his normal condition, but if he prefers to serve the illusory external energy, then certainly he will be in bondage. In illusion, the living entity is serving in the material world. He is bound up by his lust and desires, yet he thinks himself as the master of the world. This is called illusion. When a person is liberated, his illusion is over, and the and and he voluntarily surrenders unto the Supreme to act according to his desires. The last illusion, the last snare of Maya to trap the living entity is the proposition that he is God. The living entity thinks that he is no longer a conditioned soul but God. He is so unintelligent that he does not think that if he were God, then how could he be in doubt? That he does not consider. So that is the last snare of illusion. Actually, to become free from the illusory energy is to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and agree to act according to his order. So, Anita Mataji, would you like to read the second paragraph for us of this purport?
Uh, yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
The word moha is very important in this verse. Moha refers to that which is opposed to knowledge. Actually, real knowledge is the understanding that every living being is eternally a servitor of the Lord. But instead of thinking oneself in that position, the living entity thinks that he is not a servant, that he is the master of this material world, for he wants to lord it over the material nature. That is his illusion. This illusion can be overcome by the mercy of the Lord or by the mercy of a pure devotee. When that illusion is over, one agrees to act in Krishna consciousness.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, can we have Bharti Mataji, would you like to read the last paragraph for us?
Did you ask me, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Is the second one, the Krishna consciousness, yeah?
Yeah, the third one. Yeah, the Krishna consciousness is acting. Yeah,
Sorry, my
that's all
apologies.
right. No problem.
Hare Krishna. Krishna consciousness is acting according to Krishna's order. A conditioned soul, illusioned by the external energy of the matter, does not know that the Supreme Lord is the Master who is full of knowledge and who is the proprietor of everything. Whatever he desires, he can bestow upon his devotees. He is the friend of everyone. He is especially inclined to his devotee. He is the controller of this material nature and of all living entities. He is also the controller of inexhaustible time, and he is full of all opulences and all potencies. The Supreme Personality of Godhead can even give himself to the devotee. One who does not know him under the spell of illusion, he does not become a devotee, but a servitor of Maya. Arjuna, however, after hearing Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, became free from all illusion. He could understand that Krishna was not only his friend, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he understood Krishna's factually. So to study Bhagavad Gita is to understand Krishna factually. When a person is in full knowledge, he naturally surrenders to Krishna. When Arjuna understood that it was Krishna's plan to reduce the unnecessary increase of population, he agreed to fight according to Krishna's desire. He again took up his weapons, his arrows and bow, to fight under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Om Jnana Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhube Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation once again. Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I'm now firm and free from doubt, and I'm prepared to act according to your instructions."
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Is it the 74th verse or 73rd verse we're doing? I think 73rd we did yesterday, isn't it?
Oh, when I looked at the message, it said on the Bhagavad Gita group, unless I saw, bear with me one second.
I think
Oh
Manu Prabhu
yeah,
did
it's
yesterday.
no, Jyoti Mataji is correct. She said 18.73. What to do? I've only prepared for 18.73 now. So let's just see the 74th text then, as well as 73. One second. This is the second time it has happened with me.
It's okay to repeat it, Prabhuji. We'll understand it better.
Wow, that must be Hima Mataji.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
It's
Go
okay.
ahead.
We
Okay, all
understand.
right. So
Because we missed it yesterday. So
what
you
we will
should-
do is we'll do a quick recap of the 73rd text, and if there time allows, we will go to the text 74. If that's okay with everybody, let's do that.
That's okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Yes, Prabhuji, I missed yesterday.
Okay.
so-
That's okay. Yeah.
And also, before I forget, I just wanted to mention, after giving a due consideration to the chat team and the group and the devotees, everybody together. As you know, we are concluding the 18th chapter. So we have decided, I also consulted with other facilitators that we will continue Chad. We will go back to chapter 1 because we had not done 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. We started from the 7th chapter in April 2020 when the lockdown was happening. So if it that sounds like a good idea to all of you, then do let me know, because
Hari bol, don't
oh,
say
Hari
anything.
Hari bol.
Hari
Hari
bol.
bol, Prabhuji. Hari bol. Hari bol.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
oh, thank you, Kanta Mataji, and thank you, everybody. So I thought about it. What we are right now thinking, I'll share with you, is that after 3-4 days, when we conclude the 18th chapter, we will go to chapter 1, and maybe we will also spend a bit of a time. I have put some thoughts together a while ago when I did a presentation to an audience on introduction of Bhagavad Gita, because these basics are such a good fundament, they are so fundamental to our foundation in Krishna consciousness. Maybe we can spend a bit of a time, depending on when we finish. I'll see if next week, on Friday, I can do an intro of Bhagavad Gita, and then uh, perhaps I may need 2 days. So I'll discuss, because I know Divya Gaurangi Mataji, I've requested her to give a session on Saturday. So I'll come back to you about the plan. But the main thing is we are starting with the chapter 1 after this, and we will conclude on chapter 6. Uh, and then what we may do, time, place, and circumstances, seeing how things are with the lockdown and everything else. Again, as I say, we are going to chapter 1, and we'll see how things happen as the lockdown opens. And then if it is something which is mutually works out for facilitators and the devotees, then we may start Chat Plus after 6 chapters. What that means is we may go to Srimad Bhagavatam and begin from chapter 1 and do a similar thing, recite the verses of the Bhagavatam and then go verse by verse from Canto 1.
Hari
So
bol.
Wow,
Hari
that's
Krishna.
amazing, Prabhuji.
Wonderful, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Hari Hari.
Amazing. Yeah, it's a good idea.
So that's my initial thought. I haven't discussed the part 2 with any of the facilitators, so you'll have to bear with me, and I will confirm that, because I don't like to do things just on my own whims. And also, as I said, it'll all depend on time, place, and circumstances, and yeah, as the lockdown lifts. But I guess we still need hearing and chanting. We also want to read, so let's see what happens then. Um, However, what I would request all of you, there are 24 of you on this call right now, because we are going into chapter 1 and possibly sometime on the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita. Um, and we've just gone through some set of couple of verses where Krishna is directly recommending there's nobody more dear to me than one who shares this knowledge with others. I think my request to all of you would be to see if you can reach out to some of your friends, your acquaintances, and tell them that we are beginning, at least, we're going to go through we are starting with chapter 1. We may go all the way to chapter 6. And it is a good chunk of Bhagavad Gita, a very fundamental part of the Bhagavad Gita. So may try to invite a friend of yours, or even devotees who are attending earlier, but they couldn't keep pace, or they felt, oh, I've not done the first 6 chapters. You'll find many of them. I'm sure you got connected. So now we have that opportunity, and you have 3-4 days before we start the introduction to Bhagavad Gita in chapter 1. So please invite your friends, and let's build the chat team even more bigger this year, because um, apart from us going deeper into our hearing and chanting, let's give others an opportunity to also hear about the message of Bhagavad Gita. So please, if I could request all of you to reach out in the next 3-4 days as you connect with your friends and family, invite them. If you want to share some videos of your experiences, a 1-minute video, we can look to work with one of the devotees here who can do a little chat promo video. And we can just circulate a video out with a new WhatsApp link where we can invite people. What do you think? It sounds like a good idea.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Absolutely wonderful.
So Rupa Mataji, maybe you can also share a video, or
Yeah,
somebody just
absolutely.
share your experience of 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and tell us how your journey was for a year in a chat. Rupa Mataji, do you think you could help us with this service if devotees who volunteer to do the video, that you could put the videos together? How are you good? Are you okay with this kind of a thing? Or
Prabhuji, I think Jyoti Mataji can do it because
Jyoti
I'm not
Mataji?
sure.
Okay, all right. Jyoti Mataji, you may be able to help with this service, right?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yes, I can.
Okay, wonderful. And then I can give you some write-ups at the bottom and some tips, and I can also do a quick blog or a short video inviting the devotees to join as we start for chapter 1. So please, anybody, I request any one of you feel inspired to give us a short 30-second video. Please take a video of yourself sharing how was your experience of reading a chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day from last 1 year, and just why do you want to invite, like inviting others, your friends, that please join, and then that video can go to Jyoti Mataji. So please, if you could, that will be great. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's just do a quick recap of the 73rd chapter, 73rd verse, sorry. So in this particular verse, Krishna is, just bear with me 1 second, I've got some background noise here. Okay, so in this particular verse, Arjuna is sharing his 4 realization. Now, having heard the Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, he's saying that my illusion is now gone, my Lord. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I'm now firm and free from doubt, and I'm prepared to act according to your instruction. You see the chronological order. Krishna said, I was illusion. I wasn't sure whether I should fight, I should not fight, I should renounce, I should not renounce. What does renunciation looks like? How one should act? What is the symptom of a person who is acting in Krishna consciousness? What happens to the people who are demoniac by nature? How does the modes of material nature work? How do I get entangled in this karma? What is my way out of this, Krishna? So having gone through that whole complete journey of Bhagavad Gita, now Krishna is saying that my illusion, Arjuna is saying, all of that is clear. My illusion is gone. And now that the illusion is gone, I'm now situated in my perfect consciousness, which is I've regained my memory. And who is he thanking? He's thanking the Lord, because he knows. Krishna told him, Sarvasya chaham hidisani vishto. Krishna told him that, it is me from whom comes the remembrance and forgetfulness. So he understands it is actually the mercy of the Lord that I'm able to regain my memory. And now he's completely firm after doing that. He's so situated so firmly, free from any doubts. And now when all these 3 things have taken place, only then a person can take an action. You see, if we take an action without the above 3 realization, it is very likely that our action will lead us into the further entanglement in the modes of material nature, which will lead us into further complexity.
Can't hear you, Prabhu.
Can't hear you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
sorry, I
Prabhuji.
think it got paused. So what I was saying essentially that this is a great way to look at when we are looking to take an action which is based on the principle of Krishna consciousness. And and this is a good gradual progress to take it as a stepping stone, that our actions will only be conducive for our spiritual life. One, when we are not in illusion of material energy. Second, when our memory is reestablished as original Krishna consciousness. Third, because our memory is established in Krishna consciousness, we are no longer on the platform of doubting anything. So when we take our actions on that platform, having gone through the above 3 realization, that action is sure to bring about nothing short of success in Krishna consciousness, as we have seen in Arjuna's life and in the subsequent verses which are coming. And these are some quick points from this particular verse. So the first point is constitutional position of the living entity. Arjuna represents living entity. How? Because he has to act according to the order of the Supreme Lord. He's meant for self-discipline, because we are conditioned, we have to be disciplined. And finally, we are the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. So these are the 3 factors which Arjuna is now completely conscious that I was always supposed to act, my Lord, according to your instruction. And because I'm still in this conditional world, I need discipline. And and to be disciplined, I need the instructions of my spiritual master in form of chanting a certain number of rounds every day minimum, following the four regulative principles, and dedicating my life to reading and studying Srila Prabhupada books and imbibing the message in those books. So when those principles are there, then I can self-discipline my life. And once I've done this, then naturally I will be situated in my eternal position of the servant of the Lord, actually. Okay, the second point is that the cause of conditioning by the material nature, the forgetfulness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has been highlighted here. So what happens when a living entity is in the darkness? He's averse to Krishna. He cannot see Krishna. And Prabhupada gives this example. When there is a sunlight and when the sun is shining, you can see everything very, very clearly. But when there is darkness, you can't see anything. So similarly, Krishna is like that sunshine. When we are in the shelter of Krishna, then we are completely protected. Devi hi esha gunamai, mama maya durataya. So very, very difficult to give up this energy. But when we take shelter of Krishna, then we are completely protected. And then finally, service is the constitution of the living entity. So it is, our normal condition is that we want to serve the Lord, we want to serve the devotees. And our illusory condition is we serving the external energy bound by the lust and desires. You see, every soul naturally wants to serve the Lord, and especially the pure devotees of the Lord, like Srila Prabhupada, his disciples, and many advanced devotees. We see them; they are constantly thinking how I can serve the Lord, how I can serve the devotee. And we see this in the scriptures. We see when the Lord himself descends on this planet, how he acts and demonstrates this either directly in form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or in form of his counterparts. Like, for example, in the case, let's take a case of, I'm just thinking, okay, let's take case of Lord Ram. So when Lord Ram ascended into this planet, descended here on the earthly planet, he came with all the four quadruple expansions. So he came, there was Lakshmana, there was Bharat, there was Shatrughan. So you see that mood of service so naturally came to all these brothers. And of course, we know Lakshman was the one who was naturally inclined to serve the Lord more than any other brothers. However, we cannot consider the contribution of Bharat or Shatrughan any less. And I'll just give a short story here to summarize what I'm trying to say. Bharat had such a mood of service that he was, I won't go into the details, but Bharat was misunderstood by four different people in Ramayana, and quite badly misunderstood. First of all, he was misunderstood by Mother Kaushalya, who was the embodiment of love. Even she initially spoke to sarcastically to Bharat. But when Bharat started to take a vow that if I have if I am responsible for what has happened, then I will be the person getting the sins for killing a brahmana. He started naming all these things one by one by one by one until Kaushalya had to stop him and embrace him and say, I know your heart, Bharat. And so that was the first place. Then Vashishta Muni, it did not stop for Bharat. Then even what was the name of that person where Lord Ram near the lake, uh, Gahua, that person who was in the, you know, where the Ahilya pastime took place, and he was like a, what is the word?
Navik.
Yeah, I think he had a name, right, Mataji? I'm just trying to remember. So he was Gahua, right? That was the name, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, so was that the name, Hema Mataji, Navik?
Navik was just his title.
His title, yeah. I think his name was Gahu or something like that. So he misunderstood him, and then Bharat had to explain. And then finally, when they all went to Lord Ram, because Bharat didn't want it to rule, so Bharat said, "You got to come back." And Ram then gave him a complete, scriptural based arguments that why Bharat should rule and why there is no disparity. And one of the beautiful things Lord Ram said, that our father, King Dashrath, has been very, very fair to both to all of us. He said how? He said it has been arranged by the providence that you get Shatrughan and I get Lakshman. So that is a fair exercise. It is a fair thing to say that I get to rule, you get to rule over the cities and I rule the forest. Then he said, it has been arranged by the providence that you rule over the citizens of the city and I rule over the citizens like sages in the forest and even animals and look after them. So in that sense, Lord Ram he's the supreme personality of Godhead in this whole pastime. And then even then, when Bharat wasn't convinced, then Ram shouted out to all the Ayodhya Vasis who were there at the back of Bharat that, can you all explain it to him? And when they heard all those arguments of Lord Ram, they completely accepted. And then they said to Bharat that, my dear King Bharat, Lord Ram is so right. And Bharat only then, he so much wanted to serve the Lord and see him situated on the throne. And then he took out those golden padukas, gave it to Lord Ram, and he said, please wear them. And then, so that I'm going to rule the kingdom, but under the guidance of your lotus feet, which will be represented by these padukas. So, and then he went back, but he never went into the kingdom. He took a hut outside. And so all these wonderful pastimes are there to see what intimate relationship all these wonderful devotees or the Lord's associates were demonstrating for one main reason, that we as a living entity will be very peaceful serving the Lord. If you think of the example of Bharat Maharaj, he was eating like fruits and roots which Lord Ram was doing. He was like, living on practically a very, very simple life, like how Lord Ram was living. Sorry, I'm just going to have to mute because there's a background noise coming. So he lived a very simple life, and the reason he lived that life so he can always serve the Lord. And one of the very interesting aspect which I learned about Ramayana recently is that, I don't know how many of you know, you can let me know, is that we all think it was Kekai who was driven by Mantra to make that decision. But I learned in one of the lectures which Shobha Vilas Prabhu was giving, and he was explaining so beautifully that actually it wasn't even Kekai, and it was Dashrath who was asked by Kekai's father, when that he said, I can only give you Kekai as my daughter in marriage if you promise me that you will be making her son as a king, as the next king. And even Kekai was not aware of this, because this was done in a confidence between Maharaj Dashrath and Kekai's father. And so when Bharat met him in the forest, and when Lord Ram told him about this promise, this point, Bharat was Kekai was there. All the mothers were there in that army because they had all come to take Lord Ram back. So Kekai in that moment was feeling a bit relieved that, oh my God, it's not just me in this, in one sense. So anyway, that's slightly digressing to the point, but that was such a captivating point for me that, that rather Dashrath, he was such a person of the, if he gave the word, he had to do, and Ram, being his such an obedient son and the supreme personality of Godhead, he he knew obviously the exact details. He knew the truth because he's situated in everyone's heart. So coming back to the point, we are best situated in our situation when we have that mood of service, like Bharat Maharaj, like Hanuman, like Srila Prabhupada, like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, all our acharyas actually. Then we will find happiness in our life, when if that's our mood. So moving on swiftly to the next few points, and then it is explained, Prabhupada explains very nicely what is illusion. Prabhupada says, bound by the lust and desire, one thinks himself to be the master of this world and serves the external energy. And this Prabhupada, not only in this place, in many places in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, calls it the last snare of the Maya, the proposition that he is no longer a conditioned soul, but he's God. This is the most dangerous position. And many people, while transiting in spiritual journey, do because of such association get doomed by coming to this level thinking that, what, I can enjoy. And in one sense, that's what we are a tiny, we think we are a little bit of a gods here and there, because till the time the propensity is there to enjoy and to feel the proprietorship and have the false ego, be it or not, we are to some degree or another are actually thinking we are God. because only the God is the controller, God is the proprietor, we are not. So that's a very important point Prabhupada is making. And then he's saying, he's refuting that point. He's saying, if we would be God, how could it be we be in doubt what it means to be free from illusion? You see? And Prabhupada says, okay, if you're God, lift Govardhan Hill. Those are other examples. But the main thing is you one cannot be in doubt if you're God. Everything needs to be very, very clear. So then, understanding we are not God, understanding our position of Krishna consciousness, trying to serve, then we voluntarily surrender, as we learn. Krishna is saying, Sarva Dharmam Parityaja. And then when we agree to act in Krishna consciousness, that is when what is referred is the word used here is moha, which is opposed to the knowledge. So the significance of the word Prabhupada says is in the purport is that when we surrender to the Lord, that's when we agree to act in Krishna consciousness. And they both go together. So if you are serving the Lord, that means you're surrendering the Lord, and surrendering the Lord means serving the Lord. So, and then Prabhupada uses the word moha, which refers to that which is opposed to knowledge. You see, knowledge takes us towards light, and moha or illusion takes us towards darkness. And real knowledge is living entity, is the servant of God. And then how to overcome that illusion? We see how Arjuna accepts it as a mercy of the Lord and his pure devotee. And that's the way we can. You see, see, for us as a practicing sadhaka, we were discussing among few devotees. There are two ways, even while we are trying to become sincere in Krishna consciousness. You see, one way is that we carry on with our rigid sadhana with utmost sincerity and enthusiasm, and try to attract the mercy of the Lord or his devotee. That is one way. And within that way is another way, that we understand we are trying, but yet there are so many anarthas we have still in our heart, in our mind. Then the only way to overcome those anartha is shushuro shraddha dhanasya vasudeva katha ruchi sayan mahat sevaya vipra punya shravana nishevanat. That by serving the devotees who are completely free from any vice, a great service is performed. And by such service, one gains the affinity to hear the message of Vasudev. So the point is that if we want to take a fast track train while we are continuing to be sincere about our sadhana, we should be sincerely looking to serve the pure devotees of the Lord or the advanced devotees of the Lord who do not have those anarthas. That is the fastest way to progress in Krishna consciousness. And the ways to serve such devotees is by hearing their instruction, by following their instruction, and whenever there is an opportunity to serve in their guidance physically, in whatever capacity one can actually. And finally, what is Krishna consciousness? Prabhupada says to act according to Krishna's order. He puts it very, very simple. If Krishna is saying you do this, we do that, then we become Krishna conscious. If Krishna is saying you surrender to me, but if we go and surrender to a prime minister or a cricket batsman or any other Devi Devta, then unfortunately, then there is no surrender. Then that is only illusion. And that is the reason why we get conditioned in this world. And because lacking the knowledge of Krishna's position as the supreme proprietor, enjoyer, and control, and friend of everyone, who has full six opulences, because we do not know about the Lord, that's why we lack that sense of surrender and that sense of our real identity. And Prabhupada says, what is the role of Bhagavad Gita? One understands Krishna factually, and how Arjuna understood him not only as a friend but also as a supreme personality of Godhead. And finally, understand Krishna's plan. Arjuna understood Krishna's plan to reduce the unnecessary population. And what did Arjuna said? I'm now ready to fight with determination. Please bring it on, Krishna. You've cleared my mind. You've cleared everything as to what I wanted to do. um, I'm now ready to fight. Take my chariot, and this time I'm going to fight. And Arjuna fought and he won the battle. And more importantly, there was a win of love over envy. There was a win of compassion over lust. So that is how everything gets transformed in the association of the Lord, in the association of the devotee. So because it was such a long verse, even the recap took a while, and I think I brought in a story of Bharat Maharaj as well in between. Um, so who's giving the session tomorrow? Saturday. I think it's Krishna Govinda Prabhu. So I will call him and tell him to cover text 74 if that's okay with you. We can take some reflections, some questions on from today's session and see if anybody. Yes, Divya Gorangi Mataji is reminding me it was Guha. Yes, Guha. That's right. He had few names, but Guha was one of the names. And it was Guha who doubted the intentions of Bharat Maharaj. He said, "Are you going to harm Ram?" And then Bharat Maharaj said, "Why is everybody Look at the situation of Bharat Maharaj. He was what an exemplary personality playing a role which is full of doubts. Everybody is looking at him from doubt. And and he ruled the whole kingdom in such a beautiful way. What an exemplary king. And you look at the kings and the monarchy in today's world, where are those people? Why do you think the COVID-19 is surging across the world? Why do you think there are calamities like the drought, like cyclone, other many calamities are coming? These are all part of Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik. All these glaciers are coming because of we are trying to load it over the material nature and think we can do it all. And believe it or not, it is a lot to do with the consciousness, which then goes out in the ether in the form of the words or actions of the people, generating various karmic reactions. And then we say that why is God so unkind and unjust? The God is not God. God is performing his duty through the material energy, which is giving us our own results. Each one of us are responsible for what's happening in the world today. And the only way we can purify the world in this yuga is through the Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nashte, Kalo Nashte, Eva Gathir Anyatha. Only through the transcendental vibration of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, by expanding the vibration of literatures like Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the only thing which is going to bring auspiciousness in the world. And that is the only way there will be leaders emerging. If you think how things are getting now, even many like we are getting in the world of celebrities and big leaders, the influence is there. If we see the likes of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, how Maharaj is penetrating the society through his empowered disciples like Jay Shetty and many others. For example, so much of funds were raised for India recently, and so many other things. All Prabhupada disciples are glorious, but many of these are really penetrating the society. And one may think, oh, okay, it's not, Maharaj is not direct. Of course, it is all part of the plan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that people become favorable and then they get Krishna consciousness. There are many ways to reach people actually. So it is very much needed that we take this vibration um, to the world, and pray that some leaders who are Krishna conscious, who are Vedic driven by scriptures, get elected, so the society can be in a much better hands actually. So any more questions or reflections from anybody? Hema Mataji is saying, even Dhruv Maharaj, having come across Narad Muni, pure devotee, and then chanting and experiencing the Lord, realizes how he was chasing the broken glass instead of diamonds of devotion service. That's right. So it's a very appropriate example. Even, a pure devotee can change our life like anything. How Srila Prabhupada has changed, is changing every moment for all of us actually. So anybody has any comments or questions? Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, great. Anything which stuck in your mind, which you felt that, okay, I can take it back and maybe think about it, contemplate on it, and maybe try to apply it in my life?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Jyoti Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Today's session was 73 recap?
Yes, Mataji. 73 recap.
Recap, yeah. Okay, thank you.
I don't know how helpful was it. Probably, I mean, it is a very important verse.
Of course, it was
Very
amazing.
helpful.
I
Very
just
helpful.
wanted to make sure what I write on my record.
You know what? Let me, because if nobody has any question, let me read these two paragraphs, which is a transcription of a lecture given by Srila Prabhupada on this verse. in Nellore. He was lecturing on Srimad Bhagavatam, where Prabhupada quoted this verse in 1975. And he said that the Krishna consciousness movement is teaching how to become desirous of serving Krishna. Wow. We find the perfection attained by the instructions in the Bhagavad Gita when Arjuna says, Karishye vachanam tava, I shall execute what you order me. Arjuna was a warrior. Before hearing Bhagavad Gita, he was a soldier. And after hearing Bhagavad Gita, he remained a soldier. But in the beginning, he was not willing to fight with his cousin brothers. Although Krishna was telling him, you must fight, he declined. This is the stage of abhakta or a non-devotee. Look at that powerful statement Prabhupada is making. So Krishna is telling us, Sarvadharmam parityaja mamekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami ma suchaha. We are saying, Krishna, you know what? I'd rather find many other places where I can surrender because I'm very happy in this world. I'm okay. I know you're going to take my sins, but to be honest, I'm just about fine. And what is that mentality? That mentality Prabhupada is referring as abhakta. And now let's see what Prabhupada is saying. A mundane person will be very much pleased that Arjuna was not willing to fight. You see the point I just made. He was non-violent. Krishna did not accept this. Fighting is not a good business, and so Arjuna declined to fight. This was good from the worldly point of view, but after hearing Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna inquired from Arjuna, what have you decided, my friend? He replied, Nashtomoha smritir labdha karishye vachanam tava. Now I'm quite in knowledge. I shall execute your order. This is mukti. When we are prepared to execute the order of Krishna, that is the platform of mukti. It is just like a master and servant. If the servant executes the order of the master, he is faultless. If the servant declines to execute the order of the master, however qualified he may be, he is useless. Maybe this is a takeaway for all of us. What a profound line Srila Prabhupada is telling. I'll repeat this. It is just like a master and servant. If the servant executes the order of the master, in other words, if a sincere disciple execute the orders of his spiritual master, he is faultless. Even if he makes a mistake, or this is my monologue on it, even if you make a mistake, but you're trying to follow the instruction of your spiritual master, you're faultless. If the servant declines to execute the order of the master, however qualified he may be, he is useless. I mean, where else? Only a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada can give us such a crystal clear instruction. So the takeaway is we have to dedicate ourselves to serving our spiritual master, serving our mission, serving Srila Prabhupada, and then we will be very nicely situated in our transcendental position of Gopi what is that verse? Gopi Padakamalar Das Anudas Anudas. So that would be our that is our the original position. So that's what we need to do. Hold on to the feet of Srila Prabhupada and keep praying that please save us, Srila Prabhupada, please save us. So on that note, can I please ask all the devotees, if any one of you who have not signed the Google form, we have started a Google form for Bhadra 2021, asking devotees to come forward and to at least give a vow of commitment for trying to distribute one set of Srila Prabhupada of Bhagavatam for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada on his 125th anniversary of Srila Prabhupada this year in 2021. So you still have few more days, dear devotees. Please sign up the form and encourage your friends. Distributing one set in 5 months is not a difficult task. In my opinion, you can do at least 5 sets, one every month. It's not at all difficult. You all have done it. So please take a vow, be part of these 400 devotees, because these names will be offered to Srila Prabhupada on his 125th anniversary at Bhaktivedanta Manor. We will be reading a letter to Srila Prabhupada on that day and offering these names of the 400 devotees. So be the first one in these 400 names. Become dear to Srila Prabhupada by acting as an instrument in this mission to take the message of Bhagavatam to as many places, especially in UK to begin with. So we have
Where is the form, Prabhuji? Where have we got that form?
Mataji, I will send it right now on the chat group if it is okay with everyone.
And do we have that payment thing if someone is already
Yes,
interested?
yes, Mataji. So payment thing is almost ready because I didn't, we are trying to capture whatever important element like delivery, pickup, all of that. So bear
Okay.
with me till by latest by Monday, Mataji, it should be ready.
Okay. Right.
be ready. But
Thank
in the
you, Prabhu.
meanwhile, let me before I forget,
And can you send us the leaflet as well, if we can have that for the campaign?
the flyer,
Yeah, the
right?
flyer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna forward it on the chat group right now. Just
please,
give me one
please.
second.
Thank you.
1 second. Here we
Because
are.
we already got a couple of people who are interested, so I thought, well, how do we make the payment?
Sure, Mataji.
Please, thank you.
1 second. Here we are. Where is here we are. Found the. Okay, so this is the message, and I'm gonna find the flyer, which should be here as well. Here we are, and this is the flyer. PG group. So please sign up. The Google form is in the write up. If you read what Vrindavan Chand Prabhu's message is there, you will find the link. Oh no, I sent. Sorry, I sent it wrong. Bear with me. I sent a voice message, the Zoom call rather than. I'll forward it after the message, the link for the Google form. Any
Hare
other?
Krishna,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Rita Mataji. Hare Krishna.
I've sent you a message there. Would you please read it on the class, please?
Oh
This
yeah,
is my
sure.
feeling.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Rita Mataji is saying Lord Krishna is also known as
Govind.
Govind. So COVID disease has come to this world to teach the world the value of people's in life and animals' life. It's teaching the world to appreciate each other and has woken the world and shakes the world. Hare
And
Krishna.
shaken the world.
And
Hare
shaken the
Krishna.
world. Yes, yeah, that is true,
Yeah,
Mataji. It has
that is
indeed.
true.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's the
pray
feeling I've
we
had.
pray for all the people who are going through
Yeah.
this difficult time, especially the devotees of the Lord. We recently at least had lost a physical presence of His Grace Pankaj Angri Prabhu,
Yes.
who was such a dear devotee of the Lord, a pure devotee of the Lord, no doubt about it. Prabhupada said they are perfect gentlemen. Tamal Krishna Maharaj had introduced Prabhupada, these two brothers, and Prabhupada said they are perfect gentlemen, both of them. And they had such humility, and they just very humbly served the deities in Mayapur. They traveled for preaching, but great example for our community. He will be dearly missed, but obviously when the devotees depart, we know they have a higher purpose and a higher mission where Prabhupada would want to engage them somewhere, I'm sure. So we can only pray. I like Madhavananda Prabhu's prayer he shared when Prabhuji departed, that what can we pray for Prabhuji, like Pankaj Angri Prabhu? We pray to him that if he could give an iota of the same determination and sincerity he had to serve Radha Madhav, Shri Panchatattva and Shri Nashingadev, then there can be some perfection or hope of perfection in our life. So
Hare
yeah,
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Mataji.
Sincere prayers for Pankaj Prabhuji. He
Yes,
was a very nice devotee. I have met him when I went to Mayapur.
yes,
He was
Mataji.
such a nice, dedicated devotee. We
Indeed.
had we had the we had the opportunity, very lucky opportunity, to meet him.
Yes.
Yes, and his brother.
Okay.
But he will be
Wonderful.
dearly missed.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. We
Okay,
pray
dear
for him.
devotees, thank you so much. Thank you, Divya Gangi Mataji, for your message. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this evening. We will continue tomorrow. Tomorrow it'll be Krishna Govinda Prabhu. And I will work out a plan for chapter 1 and see if we could do a little introduction of chapter 1. We will divide it in two parts because the chapter has over 40 verses, so we can take it as a good speed. And I will, yeah, we'll make that start very soon. Until then, please sign up the Google form. I'm going to share on the chat group. And please, if you can, please let me know anybody who feels inspired to help in this service of sharing some videos with Jyoti Mataji, so we can invite new people into the chat group. Or anybody like to help, like create another WhatsApp group in case if we fall short, because there are many devotees on the group who may not be attending, so we may have to find another, make another group and invite more devotees so people can join and get tuned to this transcendental vibration of Bhagavad Gita. So please, I request whoever can give a short video, please send it to Jyoti Mataji. Today is the Friday. We do want to get it out by Monday because that will give us 3-4 days for people to join in. So over the weekend, you have Saturday and Sunday to do a 30 to 40-second video just sharing your experience of chat and inviting people to join. Just two things you have to do. So anybody feels inspired, can I ask? You can unmute yourself and say, yes, I'll be happy to share the video. Do it as a service. Don't worry what people are going to think. If we have a choice, we can stay
Hare Krishna,
humble.
Prabhuji.
Sorry, Jyoti
Hare
Mataji?
Krishna, Prabhuji. Maybe if people are a bit, a
Shy.
bit shy of video, then maybe I had this idea of creating a little leaflet with the information of what we are doing every day. No names, nobody's mobile number. We can just create a new mobile number, a new WhatsApp group, for like it could be a third group, and we could circulate that, a little leaflet.
Yes, I think that's what we could work out something, or you can also give a testimony. You can send a message to Jyoti Mataji, and she can incorporate that in the video or something. We could work out something. But videos are very powerful because you see, videos are the great way of reaching out to the people in this world. Everybody wants to see the video. People read and they move on. But when they hear and see the faces of the devotees who are going through this experience of studying Bhagavad Gita,
Yeah.
it's a great way people feel inspired. So it's my humble request, have a think about it. And if you have any doubts, reach out to me if you want to ask me any questions about the video. But it would be good if you can, in the first instance, any one of you could do a short video and send it to Jyoti Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji, I can do that, and I have loads of friends who I can invite. I think they will be interested.
Thank you, Rupa Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
And also my intention is that as we grow, keep in touch, build relationship with the friends you will invite, Rupa Mataji, and others as well, because when we do conclude at some stage the chat, then my suggestion to all of you would be is to start small chat groups with these friends and family. And it doesn't have to be an everyday commitment, because I was a little bit mad when I started. I thought I can do it on my own, and I was given a nice lesson from many family members of mine, and uh, and 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 reminded of what difference between enthusiasm and realistic enthusiasm is. And but I was equally blessed to have many friends and in the community and devotees who voluntarily accepted to take this service actually. So that would be my suggestion, that try to build relationship with these devotees, so that even while we are doing the chat, you can always have something going once a week with them in a small group, which is more detailed, which is more one-to-one, it's more personal, and you can keep the same format, and they can always attend this chat, but you can still start something, once a week, an hour with them actually. That would really help gain momentum for them in their life actually, even with your family members or whoever it is. So thank you, Rupa Mataji, for volunteering to do a short video. Anybody else feels inspired to give us a short video? Bharti Mataji, would you do one for us?
I'm not sure, Prabhu. I will try.
You can think about it. Okay. Anybody else feels inspired, please send in a short video to Jyoti Mataji. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you everybody. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhe vacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo.
Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.